Hey everyone, you need to check out Agent CRM. It is the platform that we really wish we had before.
Oh yeah, it has everything you need, and their team helps you get set up.
Check out Agent CRM in our description and enjoy the show.
Oh yeah.
How's it going? My name is Anthony Perez. I'm a 22-year-old right-handed pitcher from CSU, California, and I'm currently a junior at Cal State East Bay, majoring in kinesiology.
Nice. Kinesiology, dang.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. All right. So, your first outing in college ball.
Ooh. A while ago.
How much faster was the game for you at that time?
A lot faster. I went to, I don't know if you're familiar, Pioneer High School in Woodland.
Yeah.
Division III, we did play some good teams like Yuba City. And obviously those teams were really good, but jumping to that college level, I mean, granted, it was junior college. I was at Feather River College. But I was running into guys who were looking to get drafted or bounce backs from Division I. So jumping into that and being a high schooler, topping out at like 85 miles an hour, it was crazy because like I didn't even know what to do with guys at that point. I was like, I can't get anyone out. Like, what do I do? Just attack zone. And, it jumped on me, but I think I got a handle on it come the spring.
Cool. Nice.
Just because we got the full semester of work.
So what you're saying is it took literally almost 6 months for you to slow the game down.
Exactly. Yeah. Jumping from a slower pace version of the game to bang, bang, bang. We have to be on it from play one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good. Now, being a freshman, 90% of freshmen are throwers and not pitchers.
Yes.
For you learning how to pitch, what was your process?
I mean, even sometimes I still consider myself a thrower in certain situations, and you kind of got to get out of that mentality. But in high school, I was definitely still a thrower. I considered myself more of a hitter. So when they told me like, "Hey, you're going to be a pitcher in college," I was like kind of shell shocked. So I had to learn how to actually pitch in certain counts, learn what hitters want to hit, when and where. So it wasn't more so, hey, I'm going to throw this 83 mile an hour fastball and try to beat you with it. It doesn't happen at the college level. It doesn't matter whether it's JUCO or Division I. So I had to learn, I learned a slider in college. I learned how to, pitch backwards. I learned how to beat guys in their weak spots. And that was probably the biggest change that, helped me get to the next level.
Nice. Pitching backwards, a lot of people don't understand what pitching backwards is. For you, how did that change your game?
I mean, I guess where I'm going with it is like a lot of hitters are really aggressive, especially at the college level. And I mean, even more so at the pro level. You see a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swing and misses.
Right.
A lot of them are hunting that fastball. So if you can have a pitch that comes out as fastball and drops off the table, it's going to beat them 90% of the time. Mm-hmm. Especially like an 0-0 slider, a 1-0 slider. And that's actually one thing that I really prided myself on, was being able to throw an off-speed pitch in any count.
Nice.
Especially, at the Division II level, 3-2, a lot of people are still like, okay, I got to gear up for a fastball. So I want to be like, no, I've shaken off plenty of times, even this summer. I want a slider, a cutter, a changeup, something different.
So your go-to pitch is your slider right now?
I think I'd say it's still my cutter.
Really?
Especially this summer. So I learned the cutter this year, actually, at East Bay. Last summer, I was in Dodge City, Kansas, and one of my teammates, Ryan Spear, I was playing catch with him one day out in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, and we were messing around with cutters, and I didn't know any grips, and I just remember seeing how Mariano Rivera threw his. Mm-hmm. And so I was just messing around with it and started to move a little bit. I was like, okay, maybe this, jokingly, I was like, maybe it can work. Didn't throw it all summer. Got into the fall, first bullpen, I was like, why not? Let's try it. And it turned out to be my number one. My only problem was I didn't throw it hard enough.
I got you.
Until this summer, obviously, it's been pretty successful. It's kept people on their toes because it comes out, like I said earlier, like a fastball.
Yeah.
And then last second, it's gone. And so it's gotten me a lot of ground outs, kept my hits down, and kept the runs down. So.
Being at Cal State East Bay, working with the coaches there, how much has that made your game better?
I mean, a lot better. It's my first time working with, besides Cummins, obviously, has a lot of experience under his belt, working with young coaches like Zach Wallace, our pitching coach, and Jake Ruiz, our assistant coach. It's definitely helped having younger coaches on the staff, because a little bit more relatable to today's game and what guys are doing today, what they're trying to do. And it's easier to have a conversation. And so they're up to date with how I'm approaching the game, and they're up to date with how the game is being approached at their level, right? Zach played Division I baseball at San Jose State, and Jake played at Cal State East Bay himself. So they both know the game very well at that level, which I hadn't yet. I played in JUCO. So talking to them, being able to understand what players are trying to do there has definitely helped me learn how I need to work on a day-to-day basis, learn how I need to approach hitters, learn how to approach situations. And I think that's been an extremely crucial asset for me this year.
Nice. Now, I kind of want to take a little bit of a step back, because you went to Feather River, and what a lot of people don't realize is that Feather River is one of the top JUCO programs in the nation. Going into Feather River, I mean, you got a lot of really good competition.
Extremely.
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you had hinted on it in regards to the D1 pushbacks and all that kind of good stuff. How did that experience at Feather River JUCO guide you or form you into being able to transition into East Bay?
So two of the closest guys two of the guys I got closest with at East Bay, or not East Bay, sorry, Feather River, were Sam Gamboa and Shane Kelso. Sam Gamboa was a 24-year-old pitcher out of Reno, a lot of experience under his belt. Shane Kelso was 22 at the time and throwing 97 miles an hour. Ended up getting drafted by the Angels out of a Division II. So going in with those guys, it was like, okay, I'm this little freshman throwing slow. Maybe I need to talk to these guys who have been doing it and have really good success with what they're doing. And so I kind of just sat there picking their brain all year long. All year long, I lifted a lot with Gamboa and Kelso, who were putting up extreme weight where I wasn't at the time anyways. So having those guys, at least that were open, they weren't, standoffish, they weren't pushing me away, they were taking me in and, this is how you need to do things if you want to get to where you want to go. And so there was a lot of talent on that field, which was a little, hard to understand at the time for me, because in high school it was always like, okay, we're all pretty much the same. Whereas jumping to that level, it was like, okay, I'm way below the level now. So being around that many guys who with that much talent definitely helped me out to move on.
Nice. Sure. Good job. Now let's bring you forward to today, kind of jump back, come forward type thing.
Okay.
Working with the Potters. Obviously, you always try and make yourself better every day. Mm-hmm. Would you say that working with the Potters has kind of jumped your game up a little bit?
Definitely. Obviously, everyone on this team is our high-level athletes. They don't just take anyone on the Potters, and let alone in the CCL. So it's constantly, asking questions, especially those first few weeks. I'm always asking, trying to learn my teammates alone as people, but more so like, hey, what's your experience in the game? Like, what do you got for me? What do I got for you? Type thing. I've known JP for a while, so I know what he's about. He's given me all kinds of feedback from my days at Folsom Lake. And obviously working with guys like Stevens, Marjama, and Brock. My bad. They've all kind of helped push my game further. One thing I've said a lot is, crazy enough, this has been the most success I've had in my career, which I don't know why, what it is. Maybe it's, just being in Lincoln, maybe. But I think everyone, including offensive players and pitchers, have helped me, whether it's with, how I'm getting ready for games or how I'm approaching certain things. And a lot on the mental side, I'd say, listening to what their approaches are. And, I feel like it's kind of gelled me into what I need to be for this team. So.
All right, time for a knuckleball question. You ready?
All right.
You sure?
Yeah, let's go.
How important is it for a pitcher to know how to hit?
I'd say it's extremely, because as I mentioned, I want to learn what a hitter's mind is thinking in certain situations, whether it's runners on second and third, one out. Like, what is he trying to do? What is he looking for? And so that's what a lot of my teammates out here help me with, whether, certain situations, certain guys, not every hitter's the same. Some hitters are slap hitters. Some hitters are trying to hit the long ball, so for me, it's obviously I like to think I was a decent hitter. So I'm like, okay, what would I do? What would guys like Justin Olson do? What would guys like Chase Weisenborn do? Look at all the spectrums and be like, all right, this is what I need to do. So.
I like it.
Well, you obviously you're up here and I'm watching you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there like every Saturday, and that's when you pitch. So I see you pitch like all summer.
Nice.
And you seem to have taken a very ace mindset into this team. Has that happened? Is that where you've been in before, or is this something new to you? And is it something that you are excited to jump off of from what you are right now?
It's extremely new. So at East Bay, I actually went in to this season as the closer. That was kind of my role, my mindset. And some outings were great, some outings not so great. The turning point for me was at actually Stanislaus. We were up, I want to say 5-3, and I got walked off on. Went walk, homer, single, walk, sac, fly. So all fell apart there, and that was kind of a turning point for me, realizing maybe you're not a closer. You're not someone who just comes in and just boom, 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 boom. And so for me, it's going to be huge for me to bounce off of, because I have talked with the coaches at East Bay, and they expect me to come out and be a starter this year. Maybe not so much an ace. We've actually phase 2, I would call our ace, out of the Humboldt Crabs, Ethan Brodsky. And so they're expecting him and I to be kind of, the guys in the rotation. So this summer kind of was just for me to learn how to pitch deep into games again, get through the lineup a few times. But it's been different. I've always been used to coming in, pitching one inning, that's it. But let alone being the guy, I guess, if you want to call it, is really weird for me, especially seeing the guys I'm around. There's a lot of talent. I mean, we had Hunter Hayes, who obviously inning limit, but easily could have been our number 1 starter, throwing 96 miles an hour, So taking on that role is awesome, but I still don't consider myself as our best pitcher. The numbers say so, but we have guys like Dugan, like O'Haron, young guys who are just getting their feet wet and they're still performing at this level. So I think the mentality side will definitely help me out going into the spring, because it'll make me feel a lot more confident going back to D2. But other than that, I'm going to just try to keep it, kind of the same. So
we talked just before we started the interview about just even your last outing and overcoming adversity that you also just mentioned, like being walked off on.
Yeah.
What is the process of not having to live looking in the rearview mirror and moving forward? How do you kind of go and let that go?
After that outing, a bunch of people came up to me and were like, dude, it's just a skid in the road. Like, you're fine. Because I'm one of those people who, when I don't perform my best for my team, it becomes a challenge for me. I'm just like, dude, like, you couldn't go out and get it done. Now they have to pick up the extra slack. But they all came up to me and were like, dude, like, you're fine. Like, you've performed all summer. You're allowed to have one bad outing. So as a high schooler, that was my biggest issue. Like every time something went wrong, everything fell off. Everything was gone. As soon as one hit, one double or whatnot, the wheels fell off completely.
Understanding how to control your emotions.
Exactly. And, you know, for me, I think this summer at least, it's always been keeping my highs low and my lows high. And so keeping my emotions in check, keeping myself in check to where I'm not letting anything get too big, not letting anything get too little, you know, has definitely helped me continue to, you know, perform on a weekly basis. Now with an outing like this, you know, more walks in a game than I've had, more runs, obviously. I think I'm just going to go into this week, you know, check it off as, hey, like it happens, you know, go back and I obviously on Saturday, I'm going to have to attack the same team again. So obviously they've seen me. The Crawdads are a really good hitting team. So I think if I go at them with the mentality that, hey, I'm good enough to beat you guys. You got me last time, but you're not doing it again. Fool me once, shame on you. You know, so.
Let's talk about the fun of the game. First of all,
Okay.
my favorite baseball question.
Okay.
Chris wants to steal sometimes, which I love it when he steals it. But what's your superstitions?
Superstitions. There is one weird one. I mean, it's not even like weird. It has to do with my J-band routine. Every single exercise I do is in the number of 8. I don't know why. 8's not even a special number to me, nothing like that. But it always has to be 8. I always feel weird when I do 7. I always feel weird when I do 9. Even on days I'm feeling more tense, less tense, it has to be 8. And I think that's my only, I'd say, superstition for me. Obviously, the foul line thing. I mean, at least before the first pitch is thrown, I don't touch the lines. But after that, it's fair game. So,
all right. Then the next question is, I haven't asked this yet. I know this happens.
Oh, God.
In all your career,
okay.
with you and your teammates,
Okay.
what's the best prank that's been played?
Best prank. Oh, shoot. I got to think here. I think the best one, I think it was at Feather River. I was definitely not a part of it. They took someone's stuff clear from their locker. They cleared his locker out. And we had these massive tires on the side of the field, but like way down the tarp. Threw all of his stuff inside one of the tires. And I think it was at least a full practice. Had zero idea where it was. And so he was freaking out. Our coaches were freaking out that he didn't have any of his stuff. And yeah, so.
I love it. The coaches get pissed off.